Anxiety management, connecting you to your happiness. And today I'm going to talk with you how I cured my anxiety by shifting the way of thinking. So, before I go forward, let me talk how my anxiety started when I was barely 18. And the reason for anxiety is separation from my parents. I have to go somewhere for study, and some traumatic events and all sort of things, like everybody life through those kind of events. And then I had started my anxiety episodes. And that time I didn't know I have anxiety disorder. I'm talking about 80s. Yeah, I am from dinosaur age. But the best strategy to cope is to hide. First, I was so anxious that nobody knows what I am feeling inside. So I try to pretend that I am okay, I'm normal, but I was not. And there are like a lot of avoidance I started using, like I don't want to go and attend some social gathering. And then I pretend that I like to stay alone, I like to stay doing things by myself, but in reality I don't. So that is avoidance. Hide under any cause so nobody knows about myself, and survive. Like day by day I was thinking, if this day I can make it, I am okay. So that I remember, it lasted about 3 years. And reason to come out from anxiety, that probably now I know that I found a greater motivation in life to come from that anxious state of mind. And that motivation is my parent. And my parents, they need help. My parents were old and my father was retired, and I know that somebody has to help, and that someone is me. I have to help. So that was a greater motivation for that time. And I was very young, without any medication, without any CBT or anything. I just came out. But listen, I didn't cure. I managed to bury my anxiety under that motivation. I kept myself up and push. So I have started working. I kept myself busy making things, money, work, all sort of things. So there are like 5 to 10 years. Probably the anxiety was under the carpet, and I never have a thought about it. Sometimes it just somewhere it gives me like a blink blink, but I didn't pay attention. Then I moved with my husband to US, and it was around 2000. After a year and a half, because here I don't have to do and provide and keep myself busy. So that beginning of my stay, I really love that. Wow, all stress just disappeared. But I did get lot of time by myself, and there is nothing to do, very little work for me to keep myself engaged. So what happened? Yeah, that anxiety which is buried underneath, it's just coming on the surface, but not with like full blow. it happened that we used to live in that kind of a community that I hardly had any friend over there. And I started learning the car because that is something everybody has to do to keep yourself moving in this area. And I had a car accident while I was learning my driving. That's it. That set me off from that anxiety which is underneath of everything, and now it is just fully explode outside. Now I cannot hide, I cannot find the ways to put it back, like the genie is now out of the bottle. So I was so scared. Then I started finding something to cling on it, but I couldn't find anything. Then a lot of avoidance comes in my life. I make myself sit in the home and avoid all social gathering again. Same technique which I used a few years before. I started using the same thing, but this time it was way bigger than before. And of course I was alone in the house, so nothing works, and day by day it's like a snowball effect. It's like become bigger, and at some point I couldn't face it. I have to rush to go back to my country to sit under that comfort zone, living with my parents. How many months I stayed there, so I have to come back, and a few months I stay here and then again rush to my country. So this go on for few years I am saying. And then I somehow figure it out that it is not going to work. I have to find something, and I find one book. Somebody suggested me that you have to check whatever you are feeling. And at that time I barely started using this internet. It's 2005, and then I found one book, Linden Method. And the good thing about this book, the book has written by someone who has everything what I am having in my life, like all the symptoms, and it matched one and one. And I was like, whoa, this guy has everything what I had. So it gives me relief. And then hurriedly I read the books, and towards the end he said that I recover fully and I now living my happy life. And that makes me whoo, I jump in the last section, because I want to feel that if this guy recover, there is a chance I do. And that moment I felt that I have to do something. I don't know what I have to do, but I have to do something. So my coping strategy is like it is like a blind man looking for the ways to go out. I didn't have right information or anything, so I just intuitively look for something. And I said, like, maybe if being busy I have to do to make myself busy. So I have many friends, but I still want myself to go and do something, so I feel that I am doing something. So I started taking classes, and I got my license in skincare. And then after getting license, I didn't have a courage for 2-3 years to look for a job. Then after 3 years I find one skincare place. I knock her door, and I say that, oh, I have a license and I want to work. I was thinking maybe she said no, but she said yes, you can join, and I was just jumping. I couldn't understand that. Wow, she's offering me work. So I started work. Obviously, I was not confident. Every day when I start my day and I have to go and do the work, I was shaking. I felt so miserable, but I did that job and I learned how to do things. Even though I have a license, but I never ever apply those skills in a practical world. So that was my first job. And after 6 months or 1 year, I decided to open my own business. It is the crazy thing, but I did it. I don't know what I was thinking, but I opened my own business. It's Pulp Face Skincare. I opened my business in 2006. Zero client. And I rented the space, and when I opened, I invited my friends. First month they give me some business. Then for that work I need to use the car. I have to drive, and yeah, I conquer another fear because I want to go to my work. So slowly I have started driving to the place and around the place. But remember, all those years, my strategy, my coping strategy is still avoid. I didn't figure it out, or I didn't recognize that even though I am doing everything, but the motivation is always to avoid. And in anxiety, unless you let go that avoidance behavior, your anxiety, like, okay, I am walking with side by side, and yeah, so all this year my anxiety walking with me side by side, sometimes go ahead about from like is just standing there and say like, hey, come here, I am here. So anyway, then in 2015 my parents passed away, and that time I had like that loss. I couldn't figure it out. How can I fill this gap? And then I really look for something. I studied hypnosis, and from there I studied energy work, and there I found how I can permanently make a resolution with my anxiety. It is not about how you can cure anxiety. It is about how you can live happily with your anxiety. Remember, anxiety is sometimes anxiety helps you to give a motivation to do something, and anxiety is the something which stop you to do dangerous thing in your life. So it is not everything about anxiety bad. No, it is the balance, right? The balance in your life, how you want to feel, it is always in your hand. And if your coping strategy, how you deal with anxiety is in balance, you will not suffer with this anxiety disorder. It is always there for you to protect, but it won't give you any trouble. How I change my mindset is like, what I look for, why I have this anxiety, why I am avoiding this. And then I found that I want to be happy, I want to feel connected, I want to have some purpose in my life. When I found that through my energy work and through my energy practice, I say like, wow, this is something I never think about, and my anxiety is always telling me, keeping me there to find your purpose, find your life purpose. And that moment I shift my thinking. Now I no longer afraid of anxiety. If it comes, I say like, okay, you have some message and I am ready to listen. I don't run away. I don't try to avoid. I don't try to hide. I don't try to feel, oh, barely I'm surviving. No. I say, okay, this day is giving me some anxiety. That means there is a reason behind. I become so curious about what is the reason this thing is here. And I become detective of my life, and that 100% shift my attention from poor me to I'm happy. Anxiety management connecting you to your happiness. And if you are still on the edge of other side, I invite you to come and join with me, because I'm going to bring real people here who will share their life experience and their life struggle, who don't have struggle in the life, but those people who conquer and who come out happy on the other side. So stay tuned. Come here, join here by subscribing right now. And if you like it, give me thumbs up. Say something here, what type of content you want to listen from me. I always try to find the ways how I can connect you to your happiness. Anxiety management, connecting you to your happiness.